Yes, my father also played for Wakefield, and obviously that was the connection. My grandfather on my mother's side was also at Wakefield, so rugby union has always been a family thing through and through. So I actually started at a junior club called Sandal, which again is in Wakefield, then moved on to Wakefield to just see how well I could do, and they were playing in the 3rd division at the time when the leagues were going, and just did the one season there. So I followed suit. My father, believe it or not, was chairman of selectors when Les Cusworth was at the club. So there's always been that connection, and to be associated with Leicester, the connection between Wakefield and Leicester is fairly strong, I suppose. And that was the reason that I came down. A lot of people said, well, the one big chance, Dusty's retiring after a year, do you fancy going down there? And Peter Wheeler gave me the call and asked, just really an invite to go down there. And I gave it a go. I couldn't really refuse the offer. The game of rugby was definitely a social aspect of people's lives, and I actually played rugby league at school. A lot of the schools around the area, unless you went to a grammar school, you didn't play rugby union, so it was all rugby league or football. So that is really how I've been brought up, and then career was obviously one thing that you had to do, and concentrate on getting through the examination situation at school. So it was totally different now. I mean, I don't know obviously how the young lads actually see it now, but things have definitely changed.
Do you know what you wanted to do when you left school?
I didn't. I mean, I've been a very big sportsman. I've played all sorts of sports: volleyball, football, cricket, the lot. So you give me a sport and I'll have a go at it and do my best. So I've been very keen on doing all sorts of sports, and that is where I really started off in the career side of things. I went into a leisure management course and continued that. But the only problem with working within leisure is that there's a lot of weekend work involved in it, and unfortunately I couldn't fit that in with my rugby as well. So one of the things had to go.
You came to Welford Road. Dusty Hare had announced his retirement. You playing your first game for the Tigers. It must have been pretty nerve-wracking for you.
Yes, because obviously following in the footsteps of such a hero really to Leicester. He'd scored so many points, had played for England so many times, and it was one of my heroes in a way, and it was one of those things. Fortunately, I'd played for the second team for a full season, which in some ways helped me. I got to know the club. I wasn't new to a lot of players around me. I'd trained with the Paul Dodgers and Les Cusworths and the likes, and it was very easy for me to fit into that situation. I'd been on a tour, I think 2 weeks before the start of the season, to Colorado, so everything was fitting into place. And the one thing I had to really ignore was all the press and publicity that I was going to get for my very first game, which I did get a lot, and it's nice to get that, but I really had to concentrate on just getting through the game really, and making sure that I did what I normally did and why I was down to Leicester in the first place. I'd got particular skills that they'd been attracted to, and I had to carry those on. I hadn't to try and be a different person. I hadn't to try to be a Dusty Hare, because he was himself and no one else could match him. Fortunately, I had pluses to my game which he didn't have. I mean, it was vice versa as well. So I had to really just get on with it, and fortunately I came through the game very well. I think I scored something like 21 or 23 points. Everything went very well. People fortunately gave me the credit where it was due. I mean, I did miss quite a few kicks on the day, but I came out on top, and the crowd were exceptionally good to me. I mean, having 7,000 or 8,000 at one game on your very first team game, it's daunting to a lot of people just to come for one game, but have that week in, week out. And they lifted me. They gave me as much help as they possibly could, didn't put too much pressure on me, even if things probably didn't go quite as well as I expected it to. And the lift that I got from them was great. It was quite funny. At the end of the season, we played Bath in the league, and they'd won the league championship anyway. I think we ended up losing the game something like 38-15, but because I'd scored all 15 points and beaten Dusty's record, it was as if I'd won the game. I had my arms aloft, and people just couldn't understand why. But it was something, an achievement that I was very proud of, and it's nice to break records. That's what they're there for, and it's a great achievement.
You started using both feet. People have sort of said, "Are you going to use your left foot again then, John?" And you sort of steered away from that a little bit.
People told me in the second year that it was going to be even harder for me because I'd actually set myself a target, and I'd been on an England tour to Argentina, and everything had all come at once so quickly, and it was going to be very difficult to be able to follow on that, to match it, and even to better it. So people said to me, look, just really concentrate on your game. And I think, unfortunately, I was very young at the time, and like you say, my kicking did go off form, and it was very difficult. I probably wasn't given the guidance that I probably needed, and everything was very much new to me, and I had to really battle it all out on my own, and didn't really succeed in it. You've got to get the full 100% enjoyment out of the game, because while ever that's happening, you'll play the best rugby, and if it doesn't happen, then you just, there's no point going out on a Saturday afternoon if you're not going to enjoy it. One factor which I've tried to get away from a lot of the media and the press and this, that and the other is the actual Argentina tour itself. I went out there having not played any representative rugby. I hadn't played for Yorkshire, I hadn't played for the Midlands or England B as it was then. And I was very new to the whole situation. I'd played one season for a first division club and had been sent out there, and everything was great, and there were experienced players out there. Will Carling had been given the captaincy of England, and Andy Robinson and Richard Hill, and all names that you could go on forever with. And unfortunately, they didn't really give me the security and help that I probably needed, and they were finding it difficult out there. So obviously, were concentrating on their own game, and every game I was playing, it was getting harder and harder, and I wasn't really being talked to and told whether I was playing well or whether I was playing badly, on what I should really do. I was left all onto my own, and it is very difficult. It's like being given a new job and then just being thrown everything and told to be getting on with it when you haven't got a clue really what you're supposed to be doing. And I struggled with that situation.
Thank you so much for listening to this interview. If you enjoyed it, please click on the like button and ring that notification bell. And there are many, many more to listen to on this channel, so make sure you subscribe if you possibly can. Thank you.